Hey, Uncle Dave fans, welcome to a new edition of Fishing with Uncle Dave. Here we are up at Crimson Hue Resort. We was up there for the whole week. June 4th we checked in. We checked out like June 11th. But there he was up there in Lake Chetek, Wisconsin. Had just a quick moment to catch our owners there. They was making plans to make some new stuff look like. And here's our little cabin we stayed in. It was the honeymoon suite. They have several different cabins there. You have to check them out on their website. But at Crimson Hue Resort. Anyway, the view from the cabins were just absolutely beautiful. I mean, all the cabins had a really nice view. You can see it was just from our cabin here. What a beautiful thing. I mean, he's got eagles flying by. We saw several eagles go past the cabin. Nice dock down below. She'll get the hook up your electricity if you need some. And there's stairs though, so you have to be careful about the stairs. Just take your time, just go up and down. But all right, let's go fishing. I was cruising around the lake and I saw this big old chicken on the side. I'm like, dang, that's a big chicken. Let's see if there's any fish over by that thing. And so sure enough, we dropped the old spot lock and went to fishing, man. And the Terminator spinnerbait did pretty good. Caught some on that. And then we switched up and wax worms and little chicken hair jigs on with some minnows. And those crappie and bluegill were around those deadfalls and stuff. This is the biggest snapping turtle I think I ever seen. We saw quite a few turtles in the one area back there. We catch some crappie and some bluegill next to those sticks, but then this guy comes swimming along. One of the biggest turtles I've ever seen. And that dude, he's big as a wash tub. He didn't seem to be too afraid of the boat. Because he put his head up and looked right at us there for a minute and then swam on past us. But yeah, he was something to see. You don't see a snapper turtle that big every day. All right. Back to fishing. Same area. My wife had a little minnow on there with that little chicken hair jig. Sure enough, she caught an old dogfish. I threw the Terminator again and caught another bass. So then she caught a bass on that little minnow with the little chicken feather. So you just never know what you're going to catch them on. But just keep it light and keep it moving, and we was doing pretty good. Of course, you can't have a fishing trip without throwing at least a few fillets on the hot grease. It always turned out really well. Had a little cornmeal recipe there, and boy, they turned out great. So that was one fine afternoon little snack right there. Yeah, real good. Off to another day. Yeah, beautiful sunsets there. It was just nice out. We got out the next day off a little point. We tried to catch some walleye. We did. We caught 11 walleye. All of them was just a little short of the 15 inches. So we went back to our spinnerbait and put it on some more bass. You see, when they took that spinnerbait, they ate him up, boy. And we went back to looking for more crappie and bluegill. So we found these spots here again. Like I say, you find the logs with these kissing turtles on them, and we knew he was in a good spot there. So of course, Brenda threw in there. Here we go, another crappie come out of there. We finished up another day with we're talking about some fresh fish. Couldn't even keep them on the table. But we caught some nice ones there. All on those little ice fishing jigs and just those little chicken hair jigs. That, like I said, I was using that the Terminator spinnerbait with a red trailer on the bottom. So 7.5 inch culprit worm is what I used for the bottom of that trailer. New day, and we get greeted by one of the, as we said, Redbeard right there. Welcome us along and cruising around the lake. We found a little spot to eat some lunch, so we pulled in there, and it was one of the warmer days. It was only like 75 or so that day, but it was all right. So we pulled in there and had us a little lunch there. Beautiful place. They have a nice dock to put your boat in there. The place was called Gilligan's, and boy, there's some great food right there. She had the tenders and tots, and I had the Cuban and coleslaw. And then we went back to fishing. Saw this little guy. He was fishing. We watched him eat a minnow there in front of us, and the ducks all over up there is really pretty, seeing all those guys and seeing here we are in the Narrows. If you remember, you see the yellow moose, you're in a good spot. Well, anyway, that day we showed out. We caught fish from the first cast that day pretty much to the last, and we put a nice table full of crappie and bluegill right there. Yeah, Wisconsin's Lake Chetek there is a really nice lake. So me and Brenda really showed out. It was a wonderful day. But to remind people of the possession limits and data limits up there, be careful, keep an eye on that. But anyway, here we go back to around the lake again. checking it out. You know, of course, there's ducks all over, there's geese all over. We found out if you're sitting in about 8 foot of water and those trees are there in about 3 to 5 foot of water, that's where some fish were at. We were sitting there catching crappie, and then I started hearing some peeping going on, and you can probably hear on the video if I'm quiet enough. And we saw these little guys jumping up and down and jumping up and down. And anyway, we could hear them. Oh, he almost made it, but all of them end up getting out of there. There was end up being like 13 or 14 of them that come out of there while we were sitting there. And they would go down below, and Mama would gather them together. Then they'd all swim off a little ways, and then they would come back. Well, when we were sitting there watching the last two, they jumped out, swam around a little bit, looked for Mom, and was peeping, and went over by the grass there. And then when Mom came back, the other two came out to join him, and we watched the fish eat the first one. We don't know if it was a bass or northern, but whatever it was, sure took that little rascal, and sure he was gone. But she took the rest of them out into the lake, so we hope the rest of them do better than that one did. It was really something to see. I've never seen this happen in the wild like that. Yeah, little dudes were sure you could hear them down there peeping, and Mama was chirping at them. But anyway, let's get back to fishing here. Found another little spot, you know, here a little bit. Of course, it had turtles on the limbs, but more ducks. But we ended up having another good day. You know, we didn't catch quite as many as we did the day before, but same patterns and is in the same places. So we went ahead and just repeated what we did the day before. And of course, there's some of our neighbors having a campfire there tonight. And then across the way is where they have their skiers at. It says they have a ski show. And so it was nice to see them. They was out practicing, so we had a chance. And I thought, what it felt like to be doing the boats goes past that ski place. So here we go. We ran up there like yeah. Anyway, we got to go by and see what that was like. My wife was waving to the crowd like she was a part of the show. It was a lot of fun up there. We went out again that night and found a little place else to eat. It's Lakeside Katina. And that was a very good place to eat. It had a little live band going on there. And you can see how that plate of food there. Ooh, they fed us too much. Yeah, but it was wonderful. And on our way back out, we had to stop for the goose parade. A lot of geese there. But we had a great trip. Wonderful trip. Like I said, we was there for we checked in on Saturday and left on Saturday. Fished the Sunday through the Friday. And we probably caught 350 fish or more. We brought home our limit, all but two. We made sure two was too short, make sure. And of course, we ate fish while we was there. But until we see you again, keep on fishing and hope for calm waters and clear skies, man.